Hello receiving students, ATs and the receiving teachers. Thank you, take a seat. Now before we go into our today's lesson, let us recap what we have learned in our previous lesson, receiving students and ATs. Now I want receiving students and ATs, can you tell your class teacher what is the approximate value for pi or secular constant pi? What is the approximate value for secular constant pi? In our previous lesson we learned that. So can you tell your teacher the approximate value for secular constant pi? Okay, let's have a Livingstone. Let's have Livingstone. Livingstone, can you give us the approximate value for secular constant pi as decimal and as fraction?
3.14 is decimal and 22/7 is fraction.
Very good. Receiving students and ATs, the approximate value for secular constant pi, as our friend Livingstone has mentioned, pi as decimal is 3.1. Okay, that is the approximate value as decimal, as you can see also on the screen. And as fraction, the approximate value for pi is 22/7. So those are the approximate value for secular constant pi. Receiving students and ATs, our today's lesson is on circumference of a circle. Now in this lesson, the main activity is to find out the circumference of a circle, and also we will try to identify what formula that can be used to identify the circumference of a circle. Receiving students and ATs. So here on the screen I have the formula for secular constant pi. Remember in our previous lesson we did identify the formula for secular constant pi, and which is pi is equals to C over D. Now this formula is going to help us to identify the formula for circumference of a circle, or to find the circumference of a circle. Now receiving students and ATs, I have an example which is going to be given on the screen. I would like you to get in pairs or in threes and discuss the problem or do the example activity in those groups. And then while you solve the problem, the example will be given as a problem. While you solve the problem, make sure you try to identify the formula for circumference of a circle. Now the example is on the screen. Receiving students and ATs, can you read the example which is on the screen? So, in pairs, try to work out what is the circumference. The letter C stands for what? Circumference. You have the diameter which is given, which is 10. And you also know the value of pi, which is 3.14. Now, using that example, try to identify or work out what is circumference. I'm giving you 5 minutes to solve the problem. Receiving students and 80s, while you are solving the problem, bear in mind to identify the formula. You must also state the formula as well. Once you come up with the answer, you must also give the formula. What formula did you come up with to find the circumference of a circle? Yes. Got your answer. So what is the formula to find circumference? What is your formula? What is the formula for circumference? Okay. Receiving students and 80s, I can see that many people have solved the problem. Let's look at the example question and try to identify the answer to the example and what formula is used to identify the circumference of a circle. Let's have some answers. Receiving students and 80s, you can explain your answer to your class teacher. From the model class, let's have Diane. Diane? Receiving students, from the model class, Diane is going to explain to us how she got the circumference of the circle, and she will also give us what formula can be used for finding the circumference of a circle.
To find the circumference of a circle, you have to use the formula circumference equals pi d. So the value of pi is 3.114 multiplied by 10 is the diameter equals 31.40, but After a decimal, when there is 0, you have to leave the 0 and write the number. So the answer is 31.4 cm. That's the value of the circumference.
Thank you. Let's give 2 big claps to Diane. Okay, receiving students and 80s, I hope you have got the same answer as Diane's. Now, receiving students and 80s, the formula to find the circumference of a circle, as Diane has shown, is on the screen, is on the board, which is circumference is equals to pi d. Now, what is the formula? Okay, the formula is also on the screen, receiving students and 80s. Now, receiving students and 80s, I have another example. This time, the example is find the circumference of the circle correct to 1 decimal place when radius is 6 centimeter. In our previous example, we were given diameter. Now the radius is given. Can you find the circumference of a circle when radius is given? Okay, receiving students in 80s, let's check the answer to the example there. Find the circumference of the circle correct to 1 decimal place when radius is 6 centimeter. Let's save. from the model class, let's have a boy to give us the answer to the example there. Receiving students, you can also give your answer to your teacher in your class. Okay, let's have, there's no boy volunteering, so we'll have Rachel. One decimal place. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, let's check the answer. Receiving students and 80s. Is our friend's answer correct? Is our friend's answer correct? Okay. Now, the answer is round your answer to correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, the answer is correct. Okay. Now, receiving students and 8Es. I would like to emphasize something here on the relationship between diameter and radius. We know that diameter is a part of a circle, which is a chord that runs through the center of a circle. And radius is a straight line that runs from the circumference to the center of the circle. But the two parts of the circle, the two have their relationship. What can you say about the relationship with the diameter and the radius? Yes, let's have our friend there.
When you join two radius, you form a diameter.
Okay. When you join two radius, you form a diameter, which means, in other words, radius is twice the diameter. Okay? That's why the formula C equals pi d and C equals 2 pi r. The relationship is that why this formula is C equals 2 pi r is because d is equals to 2r, meaning that 2 radius makes up the diameter. Okay? So, sometimes when you are given the diameter and you are told to find the circumference, receiving students and 80s, you use this formula. When you are given the radius and you are told to find the circumference of a circle, we use this formula. So you can either use both of the formulas depending on the measurement that is given. If diameter is given, you use this formula. If radius is given, we use this formula. Now, receiving students and ATs, I would like to correct this answer here, which one of our friends have just shown. Okay, her answer is correct, but she did not round it up to one decimal place. So, receiving students and ATs, what is this answer correct to one decimal place? Correct to one decimal place? 37 point? 37 point? 37.7. 7. We are rounding the answer to one decimal place, so this 6 becomes 7. We are increasing it to 7 because 8 is bigger than 5. 8 is bigger than 5. So this answer to one decimal place is 37.7 centimeter. So receiving students, please make corrections on that. We will now go into our activity. Our activity is on the screen. We have 2 exercises which is on the screen. Now the activity is you are to find the circumference of each circle using the 2 formulas given. Okay? You will have to work out which formula to use in each of those exercises. Receiving students and ATs, now you can start off with the activity. Receiving students and ATs, you have 7 minutes to do the activities there. You have 7 minutes to do those 2 activities. Or 2 minutes or 4 minutes. receiving students and ITs. I forgot something here, please. You are to round your answers to 1 decimal place, okay? Round your answers off to 1 decimal place. Correct to 1 decimal place. One decimal place, yeah. Oh, it's two, it's one. May hardly rounding this level have one. Yeah, that's one. Okay, this one, that's correct. Finish. Did the answers? Finish. Which one are you using? The one in the book or the one on the screen? So which the one with the screen? This one, no? Okay. One decimal place. This is the 1 decimal place. Sorry. Where, which one? Okay, when you're rounding the decimal numbers to 1 decimal place, you consider this is the number that you consider. So you look at this, if this number is bigger than 5, you round this one up. This is less than 5. So this is the one that you're rounding it up, not this. When I say 2 decimal place, it would be 7.15. Okay, 1 decimal place, you only remember this one. Ivo, okay? Got your answer already? What's your answer?
Confusing.
What formula are you using? Press the one. Is the value is there? You see.
Be serious.
You are using that one. You are mixing up your formula. Rose, can you give answer to question number 1? Michael, you finish? Okay. Go ahead with this. Round this one to this is only 57.1. You cannot fall to 1 decimal place. Okay. You finish with number 1. Then you got number 2. Number 2. Where's your number 2? B. Diameter. Finish. Okay. Finish. Where's your answer? No, you cannot round this one up to 9 because 2 is less than 5. You see? 2 is less than 5. So you cannot round it up. It remains as it is 8. Okay? 8. Okay. You want to press it back. That one is 1. You cannot round 1 up. This one here, it's 1 only. You only present this, this one, 8. Okay? Get your working out, all your working out is correct. My call ready? That's okay, just go and present. Okay, you give it back to Rose. Okay, give it back to Rose. Okay, when you just go in like that, this is the answer. You write the answer only. Okay. Abi, ready? AB, yeah? Abi. Abi and where? Okay, Abi. Receiving students and ITs, I think we have finished answering the two questions. By now you should give your answers to your teachers. Receiving teacher, you can pick two students to come and present the answers on the board. From the model class, I will have Winnie and Abby to give us the answer. Winnie and Abby, okay? Winnie will give us the answer to exercise B, and Abby is going to give us the answer to exercise C. So can I have these two people up on the board? Abby is going to give us the exercise or answer to the exercise B. Make sure you state your formulas up and then we'll do. Radius 9.1. I give you answer. Forget about the cm. About the cm. Just write in equal sign. Write the cm sign. Okay, thank you, Andy. Okay, receiving students and ITs, let's check our two friends' answers. Are the answers correct? Are the answers correct? Okay, I think their answers are correct. Okay, so I would like you to cross-check your answers. The two answers are correct. A, the circumference is equals to 57.1 centimeter. Correct to one decimal place. And B, the circumference is 40.8 centimeter. Correct to one decimal place. Okay. This letter here is bit fancy, so it should be what? D. Please, receiving students and ITs, when you are writing out the letters, make sure you write it the way it is. Huh? Okay? Receiving students and ITs, to sum up our lesson for today, when we want to find the circumference of a circle and you are given the diameter, we use the formula C is equals to pi d. And when you are given the radius, we use the formula C is equals to 2 pi r. So those are the two formulas that you can use to identify or to work out the circumference of a circle. Receiving students and ITs, our keyword for today's lesson is circumference. This has bring us to the end of our lesson for today, and thank you very much for your participation.